So it's a Wednesday afternoon on what would have been a work day for us. We're here at the beach because we retired early and we slow travel full time.
So today we're going to tell you the top things we did right to prepare for early retirement to help you with the same plan.
Away we go traveling.
So first up, we started tracking our budget a few years back. When we were working full time, like a lot of people, our budget was whatever money we brought in. We saved money in our 401ks. We put a little money aside separate from that. But then after that, whatever we had was whatever we could spend. When we started looking at our options for full-time retirement, we knew we had to get control of that because we wouldn't have a steady paycheck going forward. So the first thing we did is we started tracking all the money that we were spending, because when you're trying to retire early, more than half the problem is not how much money you have, but how much money you're going to spend in your retirement.
Tracking our budget was not a restriction. It was more of a path to our freedom. We wanted to take our time back, and we had to know what we brought in and what we spent in order to know what our path looked like going forward.
So that would be our first recommendation. If you're not already tracking your budget, knowing what you spend every month, start doing that.
And while we're not sponsored, we really do love and use an app called Monarch. We'll put a link in the description. That is a really great way for, especially for a combined household like we are, or if you're by yourself, to be able to put all of your bank accounts, your credit cards, your utilities, everything you have into one app and see in one place what you bring in, what you spend, and what you can constrict or retract or stop spending to build your financial freedom plan. Our next top thing that we did was to have a plan to retire into something, not just quit. There was no rage quitting involved. We did not do anything with too much spontaneity or a lack of planning. We planned extensively for this, specifically to retire into something. Our big things, number one, was slow travel. We knew we wanted to travel. We loved traveling all over the planet. So right now, we are blessed to be able to travel with our 14-year-old dog, Molly, so that we have some more time with her. And we're traveling in the US, full-time slow travel. And hi, you are part of our plan. We retired into doing a YouTube channel because it is staying current in technology. It's something that keeps us on a schedule, gives us a little bit of structure, and the ability to create, not just consume. Nobody wants to just sit on your couch and doom scroll 18 hours a day. It's just not good for you.
Right. Retiring early is great. We highly encourage it if it's at all possible. And full-time slow travel, also amazing. But if those aren't things you want to do, but you still want to retire early, we still highly recommend you retire to something. Have a plan for what you want to do, whether you want to do volunteer work or whether you want to join a golf league or whether you want to have, you've got a group of friends who are already retired and you want to join whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter what your plan is. Have a plan in early retirement. Don't just plan to quit your job and say, I'll figure it out when I'm done, because we can tell you from experience, you have a lot of time post-retirement that you have to fill. And you don't want to, as Kara said, end up just sitting on your couch looking at your phone all day. Have a plan. Next up, we started downsizing our lives, removing a lot of the stuff we had and trying to be a little more minimalist years in advance. And the reason we did that, because we knew we wanted to full-time slow travel. And with that, we weren't going to have a place. We weren't going to have a house. We weren't going to have an apartment. All we have is what we carry with us in our SUV. So we started downsizing because that process, if you've looked into it at all, or if you've started working on it, it is both a physical process. So you have to get rid of your stuff, find a place that you can either donate it or sell it, give it to family or friends, whatever it is. But it's also an emotional and a mental process. Because as you're going through your stuff from your whole life, you're concerned about, can I really get rid of this? And some of the things that we did was sort of an iterative process. Okay, I know I have to get rid of this, but I'm not ready to yet. I had to put it aside, and we'll readdress that in a month. You certainly could downsize in a very short period of time, but you're probably just going to be wholesale throwing things away. So recommendation would be start your downsizing process early.
And it is, as Gary mentioned, a real psychological shift, because we, as our culture, we're just trained to have all the nice things and buy more things and keep all the things just in case. But we had to get into a mindset shift of, I don't need all of this stuff. I don't need to be on a never-ending treadmill of consumption and consumerism. Sure, we need things. We live in the world, but you don't need as much. We figured out we don't need as much. So, and even putting in things in storage, we did not store most of our things because we want to be out doing the things we want to do for years. And by the time we get back to that, we would have paid the storage fees that would have replaced everything anyway.
Right.
And all of that stuff is just that many years older by the time we get back to it.
Right.
So we took that as not only a mental shift, but something we could help other people and give a lot of donations, help some friends and family by giving them some of our things now so we could see them being helped.
Right.
Instead of having to wait until we're dead.
You also have to understand, once you start this process, there's a lot of your things that people just don't want.
Right.
It's the grand majority of your things that people just don't want. And if you have children or grandchildren and you're working on downsizing and trying to minimalize, don't be surprised if you start asking family members or your heirs, hey, I've got this thing that I've been saving for you, and they don't want it because they have a different lifestyle than you do, and your tastes are not their tastes, and they don't want to have to store that stuff long-term either. So don't take it personally if you try to give your things away to family and they don't want it. A lot of it may just get donated. So just understand this is a process that you have to go through.
And a couple books to recommend. The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning is a really good one because your hobbies might not be your family's hobbies, and that's okay. There's no blame in that. And this book really goes into how that is all right and how to kind of walk you through that process.
Yep. Next up, we sold our house probably earlier than we were ready to.
Yeah, a little.
We knew we were going to get rid of it, and we had started downsizing. We had started minimalizing. We knew at some point we were going to transition from a house to an apartment. And if you don't have a house and don't have a house to sell, this section may not apply to you. But there may still be some things in here that are useful. But in our case, we had a house we knew we needed to downsize from, and even though we knew we wanted to go in a certain date, we had sort of a date in mind that we wanted to retire. We started looking at the local housing market and determined it was definitely on the way down. It had crested post-COVID, and we could kind of see the prices coming down. So we knew our best opportunity for getting out of that house and maximizing the amount of value we could get out of it was to maybe move a year earlier than we wanted to. And we actually ended up doing that. We kind of looked at it and decided this is the right time to go because this is when the market is at its peak and it's going nowhere but down from here.
Right. And to lead us into that successful transaction that we did, we started minimalizing and downsizing much ahead of time and kind of shrinking our lives. So it was not such a Herculean task to get out of the house when we realized now was the time to move on it.
Right. Those two things are definitely tied together. Having your being downsized, being minimalized, being ready to move into a smaller space allows you the ability to say, okay, this is the right time to sell our house versus, oh my goodness, we have all this stuff and we want to sell the house, but we can't because we still have all these things that we have to get rid of. So those kind of go in concert. Once you have the things you're pared down to where you think you're comfortable moving to, start looking at your housing market and figure out the best time.
So another big thing we did right, and really we've been doing for the last 15 or 20 years, is credit card points. We have credit cards for points. We always pay off our balances, avoid debt at all costs. That's another book called The Simple Path to Wealth. Highly recommend you read. But stacking our credit card points became a lot more important once we realized we were ready to retire early. Gary has gamified credit card points. It's really fantastic.
Well, and I think for us, we've always collected them, but then we've always spent them. So if we were going to be going on a trip and we knew we wanted to fly business class but didn't want to pay for it, we'd stack points and then we use those points to take that trip. Knowing we were going to retire early, maybe 2 years in advance, we stopped spending those points and we started stacking them. So whenever we knew we were going to retire early, we had this big balance that was available to us if we needed it. And for us, it's been really nice using those hotel points we've stacked up to fill in between our Airbnb stays. Sometimes we'll have a day or two or maybe even a week that there's a gap in between there. And we'll use those points to pay for that hotel. We don't have an accommodation cost for that. If we do need to fly anywhere, we've got plenty of airline points banked up. So those are the types of things that when you're preparing to early retire, if you stack all those points and you're going to be full-time traveling, in particular, you want to do it in hotels. And if you're overseas, those point values are significantly more valuable. If you've got that balance, you might be able to go 2, 3, 4 months without spending any money whatsoever. All right, lastly, we avoided 1 more year syndrome. And whether that was the right decision or not, we avoided it. There's a concept when you're talking about early retiring that if whatever money you have right now is enough, working 1 more year is even better. And that's true. But then what happens at the end of that year? Do you just go 1 more? Do you just go 1 more? At some point, you're going to have to take the boat and push it off the dock and float in the middle of the lake by yourself and trust in your plan. Right. And in our case, we knew what we thought we needed. We did all the numbers. We had our budget in place. We had our investments in place. And we decided on a date. And that's the date we went. Would we have been better working one more year? Absolutely.
Of course.
You're going to make more money during that year. But the whole point of this and being able to retire early and enjoy the one resource that is completely non-renewable is time. You've got to actually take that time.
I want to reiterate what Gary just said. The only non-renewable resource in existence is time.
Right.
Honestly, if you quit your job, you're like, man, I made a mistake. You can probably just go get another job. You can make more money. Your investments will make more money. Time is something you can never get back.
Right.
And that's what we realized. Yeah, we quit our jobs at the peak of both of our careers. And okay, that's great. And we did it. And it's been wonderful because we have spent time together, time with our elderly dog, time just, hi, this is Wednesday. And here we are. So yeah, time is the only non-renewable resource. That's what this is for.
Thanks for watching.
Happy traveling.
Hi, helicopter.
Ooh.
Hilo Chopper. Oh, he's that $29.
Righty boy.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go. Good job.